Hello! Welcome to a brand new episode of Make Thrift Buy, the show where you guys send in cool clothes you found on the internet, and then I do my best to recreate them in order to fight against cheap, disposable fast fashion and to teach you guys how to make your own stuff. Today's suggestion was sent in by Zelhistoire, that person, who wanted me to make this t-shirt. Now, if you cast your mind back to episode number 22, I've actually already made this bag. But back then, I wasn't able to find any proper holographic material, and this kind of caused some people to lose their minds. Guys, you know you're actually allowed to use whatever fabric you want when you recreate these things for yourself? Anyway, guess what? I actually found some proper holographic, stretchy material the other day. So those people who were unreasonably angry at me last time can now chill out a little bit. Anyway, let's get started. You can start this DIY with any plain t-shirt that you own. I thrifted mine for 50 cents and it is tighter fitting than the one in the suggestion, but it's all I had on hand, and I also wanted to show you that you can use whatever style of shirt that you like. It doesn't have to be white either. Basically, any style of t-shirt will work. It's hard to see on the camera, but this particular t-shirt also had yellow sweat stains that were just on the sleeves. So it was the perfect t-shirt to upcycle and give a new life. Now, the first step is to remove the sleeves. So I turned the t-shirt inside out and I got a pair of small, sharp scissors. Most store-made shirts will use overlocking stitches that look like this to attach the sleeves to the body. The quickest and easiest way to remove these stitches is to find the side of the seam where the overlocking stitches look like this. Notice these two lines of thread going across the loops? These are the threads that I wanted to cut through, so I snipped through these every 3 or 4 stitches along. Once I'd done that all the way around the sleeve seam, I could basically just pull on the threads on the other side of the seam and all of the threads came loose. By using this method, it only took a couple of minutes to remove the sleeves. Now I'm going to set the body of the shirt aside for the moment, and I'm just going to use one of the old sleeves to make a pattern for some new sleeves. Now, the original sleeves on this t-shirt were pretty small and tight. However, I wanted to make the new contrasting sleeves both wider and longer. So I'm not only going to trace and copy the old sleeve, I'm also going to modify it to make it bigger as well. So first I cut open the original sleeve to make it flat, and then I traced around the top of this original sleeve onto some blank butcher's paper. I then made the sleeve a little bit longer by extending the pattern straight down from the curved edge like this. And I ended up with this sleeve pattern. Now, I also wanted to make the sleeve wider, so I cut up the pattern vertically in 3 places like this. And then I separated the 4 resulting sections. The top of the sleeve is still the same length as the original, but the rest of the sleeve is now wider. I traced around this slashed and spread out pattern onto more pattern paper, also extending the sleeve to make them a little bit longer again, adding an even 7 inches on both sides. And then I added a slightly curved bottom edge to join up the ends, and now I've got my new sleeve pattern, which I cut out. Notice how much bigger it is in size to the original sleeve? However, the top edge is still the same length, which is important because the new sleeves will still fit onto the original t-shirt. With the sleeve pattern done, I grabbed my holographic material. To cut out 2 mirrored sleeves at once, I folded the fabric over in half like this, right sides together, and then I laid the pattern down on top of the wrong side of the fabric, put some heavy items on top of the pattern to hold it in place, and I cut around the pattern with my rotary cutter, cutting through both layers of fabric at the same time. This gave me 2 mirrored sleeves that look like this. For each sleeve, I folded it in half, right sides together like this, and I sewed down the straight edge. I used an overlocker, also known as a serger, for this step, but a zigzag stitch will also work just fine. Next, I finished off the bottom edges of the sleeves by first overlocking right around the bottom edges. And again, this is a totally optional step. And then with the sleeve still inside out, I folded the bottom edge up about 5/8 of an inch, which is about 1.5 centimeters. I stuck some pins in and I sewed all the way around the edge using a zigzag stitch to make a hem at the bottom of the sleeves. Because I'm using stretchy fabric, I am also using a walking foot on my sewing machine so that the hem doesn't become all weird and ruffled. I am also using clear nylon thread so the stitches won't be visible from the outside. After I repeated that process on both sleeves, it was now time to attach them to the body of the original t-shirt. To do this, first I turned the body of the t-shirt inside out. Then I pushed one of the sleeves inside the armhole. Hem first, so that the curvy raw edge of the sleeve matched up with the armhole. Right sides touching, positioned so that the seam on the bottom edge of the sleeve matches up with the underarm seam on the t-shirt body. Then, using lots of pins, I pinned the 2 pieces together really well. The last step was to sew the sleeve on using a zigzag stitch all the way around the armhole. You can see that I'm struggling a little bit with the stretchy, slippery fabrics here, but it's not impossible if you leave the pins until the last moment and you go really slowly. After sewing these two together, I did finish off the seam by going over it again using my serger, but again, this step is totally optional and just gives you a more professional finishing inside the garment. After turning the shirt the right way around, I noticed that I should also iron the seams to help them lay more flat. But anyway, that's it. So how did I go? Okay, so I just went into the sunlight wearing this t-shirt and I lit up like a rainbow. I understand why people defend holographic material so viciously now, because look at this. I'm a walking rainbow. Wow. Pretty. So obviously my t-shirt is a little bit tighter fitting than the picture in the suggestion, but I knew that going in because basically I wanted to show you guys that you can use this technique to add holographic sleeves or indeed any kind of colored sleeves in any kind of stretchy material you want to any kind of t-shirt you want. So my conclusion is, if you'd like to leave a suggestion for a new Make Thrift buy, then use the hashtag MakeThriftBuy on Twitter, Instagram, or leave a comment in the comment section down below on my most recent video. I've given up telling people to not send them to me on Twitter and Instagram because you all did anyway. So if you want me to see your suggestions, put up a picture, use the hashtag MakeThriftBuy, and I'll browse it frequently to look for new suggestions for new videos. Oh, and if you haven't already, please check out my Patreon page. I'm currently trying to fund a proper sewing workbench that is adjustable so I can raise it to a level where I don't have to bend over and hurt my back all the time. It'll also be really useful for using patterns because I'm going to be hopefully soon doing a how to sew with patterns series for you guys. So it basically means new and better quality videos for you guys, and selfishly I also won't be in so much pain anymore when I try and sew. And thank you so much to all of my amazing Patreon supporters. I couldn't do what I do without your help. But of course, if you can't help me out on Patreon right now, then feel free to share my videos on social media with your friends who you want to get into sewing and have some craft afternoons with. Anyway, that's it from me, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye! Today's challenge sent to me by Nori is probably one of my favorite Make Thrift buy suggestions so far. It's a handbag. A handbag. Get it? The whole item is a pun. It's so beautiful.